Hey guys, I didn't think I'd be posting a video this soon, but I had something come up, and let me adjust this. There we go, that's a little better. And thought I would kind of talk about it. Kind of a mess right now. I'm on my fourth yard today, and it's like 105 degrees out. So I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna talk to you guys and take a break for a few minutes before I start this next one. So the other day, I was doing this job out of an app, and I know some of you guys don't like apps, and I understand that. And this isn't a debate about apps themselves, because I find them to be useful to fill time when I'm not busy. I mean, they can make me busy, which is great. But I think I'm going to call this the lawn starter lawn love incident, so that you understand where this comes from. Full disclosure, I'm not going to hold anything back on what happened and everything, except the person's name and address. I'm not going to give that out because wasn't their fault. So I've been on a job on lawn love, lawn starter. They're the same thing basically. At the beginning of July. I don't remember the exact date. It was the beginning of July. And that's weird. The job was for the end of July, which struck me as being really odd. So I got the job because nobody else was going to take it. Because it was way far out in the area. But pretty much I think I'm the only one that does. I don't think any other guys in my area want to do that area. So it's way south. And they usually like to stay more north, so I tend to pick up most of the ones in that area anyway. So I came up and I thought, great, I got other ones in that area, I go down there and do it anyway. So I sent him a message and I said, hey, I noticed your appointment's about 3 weeks out, 3-4 weeks out. If you need to move it up, let me know. We can definitely work on that. I'm happy to accommodate. Typical customer service stuff. No big deal. Never heard back. Not unusual, but it makes me... The situation could have been avoided using some of the systems that some of the other apps you use. And I'll go over that at the end. But I sent a message the day I was on my way out. Hey, I'm on my way there. I sent the notify that I'm on my way, just like you're supposed to do. I show up, and I don't want to make this person sound bad, but their yard looked horrible. And I was just there to do a mow. I wasn't doing any yard cleanup. I wasn't doing anything else. But this yard needed a yard cleanup. There was a huge pile of sticks and branches in the middle of the side of the yard. And thick clover across the front. And the clover had been mowed probably on the lowest setting you could get it on a mower. So you could see the vines underneath and the growth underneath, but you couldn't really see much else, and it was just patchy and it was bad. But there was still some grass in there, so there was still justification to mow it. And the backyard, of course, was very overgrown, and to the point where it was a weird configuration. There was a fence around the yard, and then there was a small area that was probably 10 feet by 8 feet fenced off inside the fence. I didn't know what that was all about. And believe me, I never got to ask. And probably 6 foot high polk and other weeds growing in there. Not pretty. Didn't know quite what to do with it. Was going to ask him about it once I got to that point. Could see what it was because it was overgrown around it, so I couldn't see in it, see if there was maybe a way in or not. But yeah, you know, it's got to come down. It's got to come down. I'll take it down. So I got a brush cutter attachment. But I'm there maybe an hour and a half, and it starts raining. And I've pretty much got the cut down, and I just need to do trimming. So I retreat back to my truck because I know the rain's going to pass, and this is some hard, really determined rain that you know is going to rain for about 15 minutes and go away. Fine, I'm good with that. I've already finished the cut, the last cut of the day. I don't have to worry about anybody else. So I throw the mower in the thing, throw the tarp over it, sit in the truck, drink some water, send him a message. Excuse me for being rude. And then, basically the content of that message was, hey, I'm working on your property. I got some questions. If you're available, I'd like to speak with you. If not, I'm just going to continue working until I get to the point where I have questions, and then I'll come back and I'll ask them. Just preparing them to get another message. Sometimes that helps. Didn't hear anything in the 15 minutes it was raining. Since it had rained, I left my phone in the truck because it wasn't, besides being back there, I didn't want to lose it. It's very probable if I dropped it, I might not find it again, based on the thickness of the grass. So, left in the truck, went back to mowing, went back to trimming, and I started in the back, and it was probably up the fence maybe a foot and a half, and somebody had mowed it and just blown everything up against the fence and left it packed up against the fence. So I was using the trimmer to pull the packed shaft out of the fence and take down the weeds that were around it, and honestly was getting it pretty good. The new trimmer line that I picked up, Duracore, seems to be doing fairly decent. I used a Savage before this because they were out of the Black Diamond. They're still out of the Black Diamond, but the Duracore seems to be working really well, especially because it says it's better for battery trimmers, and I use battery stuff mostly for the lower power equipment. Anyway, I'm about halfway through the yard, maybe 3/4 of the way through the yard, and I'm not saying I got it perfect because it would have been another 2 hours to get it perfect, but there was an improvement. It looked decent for the hour and a half that I'd put in, 2 hours I'd put in. Usually in that case, I would speak to the owner and I would say, hey, look, I can charge you extra for a severe mow in the app because they want you to do that and it's double charge. Or we can just let me work on it over time, saves you money. I don't have to spend 4 hours on your property for $40, $50, whatever it's going to pay me. So it tends to average out to me to make a little more money for my time. Not money at once, but money for my time. So sometimes to me that makes sense. And I'm coming up, and I'd just gone out to change the trimmer wire in my trimmer. And I was walking back in, and I turned around and the gate was open. I hadn't closed it yet. And from behind me I hear this voice say, "Get out of my backyard." And I turn around and it's this older lady. And her tone was hard to pick up on. It almost sounded like she was joking. So realizing this is probably the owner, I try to match that tone. And I say something that's hard for me to cut your lawn if I have to get out of the backyard. So what she had told me was she was furious with Lawn Love and Lawn Starter, and not realizing that we're all kind of independent working for them. Thought we were all the same guys working for the same company, and just started going off on me. I don't know that she was threatening directly to call the cops, but there was an insinuation that was going to happen, and I was not feeling that. I didn't want to deal with that it was Friday, actually. I didn't want to deal with it on Friday. I really just wanted to go home at that point. It was hot. I'd done a lot of yards. I was done. So I told her, I said, "Ma'am, did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me personally?" And she said, "No, I said, does what I did here look okay to you? And I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, this is after she told me her situation. Apparently, she had paid Lawn Love to come out and do a yard cleanup, something to the tune of $1,300. And I don't doubt her, because I've seen some of their prices, and they run about $580 to $600 is what you get paid to do it. So that means they're charging them double. So $1,300, not out of the question. And the guy came and moved some stuff around, but never picked anything up. So she paid $1,300 to have a guy come out and just move some stuff around and never complete the job. Understandably, I'd be pissed too. But she said, I don't want to. She said, I was so mad I deleted the app. And I said, oh, okay, now that makes sense why you didn't get any of my messages. Because all the messages go through the app. So, I clarified with her. I said, ma'am, does this look, all I do is mow. I don't do any of the cleanups. I don't get involved in any other stuff. Does what I did for you look okay? Are you mad at me? Did I do something? Did I do anything wrong? Are we okay? I will be happy to leave like you're asking me to, and get off your property. I just want to make sure before I go that you're okay with the mow that I did and everything's fine. She said, well, I'm not paying the bill. And I said, I don't care about that. That's not my problem. I said, that's between you and Lawn Love. I said, but that's kind of not true, but I was just I just want to be done with this. And if I lose $40, I lose $40. I don't care. So, she confirmed that, I did a good job to her mowing and cleaning up what I did. And I even told her, I said I was going to, I was actually going to ask you about that pile and ask you if you wanted, needed it hauled away or anything, and we could work something out. So at this point, I think she was okay with me, just not okay with Lawn Love, because she tried to get me to do it off the app. Now, mind you, if you do work for a customer that you got through Lawn Love, you put yourself in a legal situation where you could be sued. So don't agree to those things unless you are 100% confident in the situation that you're not going to get sued. And at this point, excuse me again, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't have a spare $5,000 laying around, and this lady's not going to pay me $5,000 to make it worth my time. So I gave her the number of another one of the guys that buzzes around here that I like, who does good work, who isn't on any of the apps. He does his own stuff exclusively. And I told her, I said, call this guy. He's fair. He'll give you a price if you want. It's not affiliated with Lawn Love or Lawn Starter. He'll get you taken care of. But she said, I refuse to pay the invoice. I won't be paying any money. I refuse to. Okay, cool. So before I tell you what I did after, I'll tell you this is the second time this has happened to me. And it seems to be elderly people that don't understand that if they just delete the app, it doesn't cancel their service or any of the stuff that they've got. So a lot of my elderly clients that I have that through the app, I always make sure that I tell them, if you want to cancel your service or pause your service and you're having trouble, let me know and we'll get you taken care of. And I reiterate that several times because a lot of them are not technically adept, and they can get themselves in a situation where somebody keeps showing up. Now my options at this point with this lady, and the first time wasn't real bad. I showed up, the lady said, I canceled the service, my mower's fixed, I'm able to do it myself. Oh, okay, cool. I've got 3 more lines to go in your yard and I'm done. I'm sorry. No idea what's going to happen to me. And she said, no, you're fine. Go ahead and finish. I'll pay it this time and then I'll cancel it. So we took care of that. But this time was a lot more aggressive. And I did find that the best thing to do was to agree with her that there was a problem, because definitely it was obvious looking at the yard. It was a beautiful house in a nice neighborhood. So, for the yard to get overgrown, any number of things could have happened. She could have got sick, anything else. I'm not going to judge her for that. And she's trying to do the right thing and pay a company to clean it up. And they didn't, but when somebody from the same company comes out, I understand why she got aggressive. So I agree with her that, things happen. I'm sorry, it wasn't me. I got nothing to do with that. I'm not on that side of the house. I apologize for the company. I said, I don't think I need to apologize for my work. It's good. I said, but, any discussions you have are between you and Lawn Love. I have nothing to do with that. I said, I'm independent. I do my own thing. I said, this is just what I do to fill time when I don't have a job on that day or whatever. So as I'm leaving, she's kind of hurrying me off her property, so I barely had time to take a picture of her yard out my window as I drove off, because she's watching me leave. And since it was the first time mow with Lawn Love, you have to take pictures when you show up, the address, and when you leave. And I wasn't sure how a blurry picture out my window was going to work, but I made sure I took one anyway, because you got to cover yourself. So off I go, called Lawn Love support. I pulled down around the corner of the cul-de-sac and parked on the street outside the cul-de-sac and called support. Unfortunately, they picked up fairly quickly. And I told them the situation, and I said, this lady was going to have me escorted off her property forcibly. I said, she says she's refusing to pay, so somebody's going to get stuck with this bill. I said, I don't know how to close the job for sure. I was gonna call to get confirmation. The guy said, close it, you need to get paid. And I said, I don't know that sounds right, but he said, I'll do it for you. So he closed the job, completed it. And I said, I don't want to be in the middle of this situation anymore. So I removed the lady as a client. Well, he did. He removed her as a client for me, which is unfortunate because, I hate doing that because I know it just throws her out in the bidding pool again. So I don't want to go to her house again. And I don't know any other way to do it. But I did tell her before I left, I said, give me 30 minutes to call support and get my end straightened out. I said, then call them and you have at them all you want. So hopefully she took care of it then. But the bad part was I took a hit for canceling her next appointment after I closed this one. So yeah, that sucked. But just to be clear, they did close the job. I did actually end up getting paid for it. Same rate I should have been. And that was that. It could have gone a lot worse. I have a feeling, even though this was an older, smaller lady, if when she started yelling at me and got aggressive, if I'd have fired back at her, it would have been a bad situation. And I get it. This lady lost a lot of money. And I guess that goes to show you that taking somebody's money away is definitely a way to get you hurt or shot. Even if you didn't do it, if your company did it, it can be bad. So I'm always ready for that, but not get shot, but always ready to apologize or take ownership of whatever problem it is. See if I can get it fixed. I'll call support for them, or I'll call support first and then let them call it. But Lawn Love and Lawn Starter, if you're not familiar, put their jobs out there, and everybody, and the first person to accept it gets the job. So there's several ways a person could get put out in the pool again. If somebody drops them, somebody closes their account, somebody gets fired, whatever, it puts them back in the bidding pool. If they submit a quote for a request, they get put in the bidding pool. And those are the ways I'm aware of. I'm sure there's other ways they could end up there. But once you accept the job, it just says you send a message to them, and then they can choose whether or not to reply. And if it was me, and I got a message like that in an app, I would just be like, cool, we're good. I don't have to say anything. And that's fair, but maybe not as ideal. Like GreenPal, as much as I hate it, has a bidding system. So if somebody puts in a request for a quote, and 5 bidders put their bid in, and then the person picks you based on your reputation and your bid to decide whether they want to let you cut their grass. Now, on GreenPal, I'm a 5-star, high reliability, like high 98, 99% reliability account, but everybody in my area charges $35, so $35 is the max you can get. So it doesn't matter, but you pick the one you pick, and they actually select it, so they're aware that you're coming because they asked you to come. And this is the premise of, on GreenPal, they ask you to come. So then the onus is on you once the money goes through. If it doesn't go through, then you're the person involved in it, and you have an invitation from them, so you do have some legal ramifications you can go through, especially based on GreenPal's agreements and whatnot that you might help you out. On Lawn Starter, you pick the bid and show up, so you're not technically invited to their house always. You might just be the next choice that goes, and they might have canceled their service, and the app just didn't cancel it and just put it back out to bid again, and you got the job, and now you're going, and they don't want you there, and so you do the work, and sorry buddy, you're not getting paid. Well, you do, but you can get a percentage or whatever, but you know, there's a plus for that. And then Lawn Guru, you can accept the job. And I got a story about Lawn Guru I'll probably share later this week that was kind of interesting. I don't think I shared this one already. But anyway, that was my Friday, and that was fun. So if you get on these apps and you're going to somebody's house for the first time and you're not sure, I would highly recommend that you take pictures, try to contact them and get them to respond any way you possibly can. Generally asking them a question in your response is the easiest way. And the easiest question to ask is there anything I should know about your yard? I didn't do that this time, and I'm sad that I did, because it would have saved me a lot of trouble. So if you use these apps, and I don't want to have a debate about whether apps are bad or not, or whatever, you know, that's beating a dead horse. But if you use these apps, have you ever had something like that happen, and how did you handle it? You know, what scenario did you get into in these apps that was bad? How bad was it? And did you get out of it okay? And you know, how did everything work out for you? I'd love to hear your stories. But that is that just a heck of a way to start a weekend, isn't it? Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully I don't have to make another crazy video again soon. But I gotta get this yard knocked out, and it's one of my bigger ones with a hill, so I've been procrastinating sitting here. And I guess I better get started on it so I can get to the next couple. The day doesn't end if you don't finish the jobs, right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. And if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. If not, I don't really care, but it's always nice to see the numbers go up. Talk to you later.